Happiness is an elusive state of mind, not to be gained by clumsy pursuit. It is given to those who do not sue for it. To be unconcerned about a desired good is probably the only way to possess it.
Good morning, one and all present here. Welcome to the fourth day of English Week. Those who do not read are missing life's reward. Book readers are special people and they will always turn to books as the ultimate pleasure. Those who do not read are the unfortunate ones. There is nothing wrong with them, but they are missing out on life's compensations and rewards. A great book is a friend that never lets you down. You can return to it again and again, and the joy first derived from it will still be there. So, let us bond with Ruskin, the most famous among the Indian authors of English.
Ruskin Bond was born on 19th May in 1934 to Ethel Clark and Aubrey Alexander Bond in Kasauli, Punjab State Agency, British India. His father taught English to the Jamnagar princesses, and Ruskin, along with his sister Ellen, lived there till he was 6 years old. Later, Ruskin's father joined the Royal Air Force in 1939, and Ruskin, along with his mother and sister, moved to their maternal house in Dehradun.
His father arranged for Ruskin to be brought to Delhi where he was posted. He was very close to his father and described this period with his father as the happiest time in his life. He was 10 when his father died of malaria while he was posted to Calcutta. Ruskin was in his boarding school in Shimla and was informed about this tragedy by his teacher. He was thoroughly heartbroken. Later, he was raised by his mother and stepfather in Dehradun.
He did his schooling from Bishop Cotton School in Shimla, from where he graduated in 1950. He won several writing competitions in the school, including the Irving Divinity Prize and the Haley Literature Prize. He wrote one of his short stories, Untouchable, at the age of 16 in 1951.
Following his high school education, he went to his aunt's home in the Channel Islands in UK in 1951 for better prospects and stayed there for 2 years. In London, he started writing his first novel, The Room on the Roof, the semi-autobiographical story of an orphaned Anglo-Indian boy named Rusty. He did various jobs for a living. It won the John Llewellyn Rhys Prize in 1957, which is given to a British Commonwealth writer under 30. He moved to London and worked in a photo studio while searching for a publisher. After getting it published, Bond used the advance money to pay the sea passage to Bombay and settle in Dehradun.
The following year, a collection of his non-fiction writings, The Best of Ruskin Bond, were published by Penguin India. His interest in supernatural fiction led him to write popular titles such as Ghost Stories from Raj, A Season of Ghost, A Face in the Dark, and other hauntings as well. Since then, he has written over 500 short stories, essays and novels, which include The Blue Umbrella, Funny Side Up, A Flight of Pigeon, and more than 50 books for children. He has also published his autobiography, Scenes from a Writer's Life, which describes his formative years growing up in Anglo-India, and a further autobiography as well, which names Lone Fox Dancing, was published as well in 2017. The Lamp is Lit is a collection of essays and episodes from his journal.
Being a writer for over 15 years, Bond experimented with different genres. Early works include fiction, short stories, novella, with some being autobiographical. Later, he tried out non-fiction, romance, and books for children. He said his favorite genres are essays and short stories. He considers himself a visual writer because for a short story, he first imagines it like a film and then notes it down. For an essay or travelogue, such planning is not needed for him. He feels the unexpected there makes it more exciting. Bond likes Just William by Richmal Crompton, Billy Bunter by Charles Hamilton, and classics such as Alice in Wonderland and works of Charles Dickens and Mark Twain.
Since 1963, he has lived as a freelance writer in Mussoorie, a town in the Himalayan foothills in Uttarakhand, where he lives with his adoptive family in Landau, Mussoorie's Ivy Cottage, which has been his home since 1980. Asked what he likes the most about his life, he said that I have been able to write for so long. I started at the age of 17 or 18 and I'm still writing. If I was not a professional writer who was getting published, I would still write. In his essay on being an Indian, he explains his Indian identity. Race did not make me one. Religion did not make me one, but history did. And in the long run, it's history that counts.
As I walked home last night, I saw a lone fox dancing in the bright moonlight. I stood and watched, then took the low road, knowing the night was his by right. Sometimes, when words ring true, I'm like a lone fox dancing in the morning dew. 1980 I moved into this particular flat. But I came to Mussoorie in 1964 after spending 3 or 4 years in Delhi, and I wasn't writing particularly well at that time in Delhi, and so I thought if I escaped to the hills and to an environment that suited me, I would do better work and be a happier person. And I was right, and I've done reasonably good work here. I've been happy with it. My personal life has also been a good one, so I've no regrets. I generally find it's best to write in the morning. The earlier the better, because there are no disturbances. Then later in the day I might do more routine stuff. There might be a correspondence or something I have to write to a publisher about, or correct proofs. In the afternoon, do some reading. I still read a lot, all kinds of books. And I'll take a nap, of course, very important. I'm very grumpy without my afternoon siesta, which is usually the time people decide to come and bang on the door, and tourists especially. So I suppose in the morning they've been to a waterfall or had a nice good lunch somewhere up at Chandukan, and on the way down they'll say, well, this is where the writer stays. You know, you got your selfie with you. People love that bit, kids.
Oh wow, love the breeze.
Oh, there's always a breeze here. Some are earlier essays, some are new ones, which I wrote for this collection. And so they reflect different periods of my life, as a boy, as a young man. Yeah, these are all family pictures, at different ages. These are when the much younger Shrishti, Siddharth and Gautam. When World War II broke out and my father was moved around here and there, I spent a year or two with him, then later with my mother and stepfather in Dehradun. I just wanted the one room where I could be on my own. And I'm very lucky, a family has grown up around me. They never disturb me, so I write in peace. When I want company, it's there. It's just like any other day for me. But oh, there'll be lots of cakes. Now, I'm not particularly fond of cake, but anyway, the kids can enjoy the cake. I'm quite happy with, simple things. Bread and butter. And then I'm told, butter is bad for you, Bond. Bread is bad for you, Bond. So I can't even have bread and butter. I mean, what's left? Beauty needs no introduction. Either it's there or it isn't. Either you see it or you don't.
Ruskin Bond's works aren't just literature. They are a human experience.
The beauty of his literary creations lies in the lucidity and the organic feel of his writing. There is a subtle essence in every story or novel that makes it stand out. The genius of Bond lies in the fact that he takes the mind's eye in for a trip. The idyllic ambience, the tranquil imagery of nature, the deep and relatable characters, and most of all, the unadulterated joy encapsulated in his works are overwhelming. His humorous, witty, and emotional sides are reflected in every verse. Fall in love with his books. Please stay tuned for tomorrow's final program of English Week, The Potter's Spot.